Hi everyone, I'm Shelly from There's No Place Like Home at redheadmom8.wordpress.com. We're getting to the end of the homeschooling year, and since I shared a video a few weeks back on why you should not overcomply with your state's homeschool laws, I thought that right now was a good time to share with you what you need to do in order to comply with your homeschool laws at the end of the year if you live in Pennsylvania, which is where I live. Pennsylvania is one of the more highly regulated states. We do have to do a lot more than what most other states have to. But I think that a lot of people overburden themselves with thinking that it's worse than it actually is. And in turn, what ends up happening is they end up giving too much information to the school district, which is why I'm going to go over this with you today. Okay, so if you are in Pennsylvania at the end of the school year, you have to have a child who is either in third grade or is 8 years old, or if they've already been in school, you have to have them evaluated by somebody with a teaching certificate or a licensed psychologist. And when you have that evaluation done, they will interview your child and you give them some samples of your child's work. You give them some sort of documentation that you've homeschooled for 180 days. This can take the form of maybe a calendar with X's on it, maybe a book log that has everything dated, or you could even just give some sort of a signed paper stating that, yes, I homeschooled my children for 180 days. That's really up to you and your evaluator. So that is something that you should discuss with them. But another thing that you do need to keep is a book log. I know there are a lot of people who think that by log it means that you have to write down what your child does every single day throughout the school year, which is what I actually used to do. And then I was really happy to find out that I was doing too much. I was happy because it was taking up way too much time for the amount of kids that I have. So what you need to do is just keep a book log. You just keep a list of books that your kids have used throughout the year. You can either, some people like to date it, like write down the date that they use each book. Some people just put them in order of when they use them. That's up to you, again, and your evaluator, but it is a book log. You do not need to keep like a diary of what your kids have done, which I know a lot of people think, because I was one of them. You don't have to give that. Another thing that you need to give to your evaluator to look at are standardized test scores if your kids are in either 3rd, 5th, or 8th grade. Okay, so here's what you need to give. Here's like a recap of what you have to give to the evaluator. A book log, some sort of documentation that your child has homeschooled for 180 days, work samples, and what was the last thing? The standardized test scores, okay? So what's going to happen is your evaluator will interview your children and just talk to them about what their school year and what their year was like, and the evaluator will go over their work samples and everything. At the end of the evaluation, you will get an evaluation letter from your evaluator just stating that your child has made adequate progress throughout the year. This is where the school district comes in. Once you get that letter, you have to take it to the school district that you live in by June 30th, okay? And here's where some of the difficulties come in. All you give to your school district is that letter. That's it. They do not get the portfolio of work samples. They do not get any standardized test scores. They do not get the book list, nothing. All they get is that letter from the evaluator, and they have to accept it. So I know that my school district actually still asks for standardized test scores, and I did inform them that that is not legally required. So they know not to ask me for that because they know that I know, but I have seen it that they still put it on their letters that they hand out to homeschool parents that at the end of the year they should give their standardized test scores. No, you do not give your standardized test scores. That is not required by law. All your school district gets is the evaluation letter. If they do ask for anything that is not required, I suggest you just tell them that it is not legally required. Some people will actually give their school district a copy of the homeschool law. And if they would ever give you any issues for any sort of reason, you could always contact hslda.org. They are great for defending homeschoolers because they know what the law says, and they know that a lot of school districts, either just because they don't know really what the law says, or they're trying to push a little too much, they will try to get more information from you than what they're legally required. So I'm going to just reiterate that again, is that all your school district gets is your letter by June 30th. And later on this summer, I will make a video about what you need to do in order to start homeschooling in Pennsylvania. But I thought that since it was so late in the year, I was just going to focus on these end of the year issues. So if you have any questions about homeschooling in Pennsylvania, and I do just want to tell you, I am not a lawyer. I am just a homeschool mom who has done this for 8 years, and I've made mistakes and I've learned. And really, also, I want to tell you, AskPauline.com has a lot of really great information also. That's kind of my go-to website other than HSLDA. So if you have any questions, just leave a comment at the bottom, and I will be happy to help you in any way that I can. You have a great day.